Hey sis, good morning. I just wanted to pop on here for a few minutes to just talk about what God has been downloading into me lately. I think I just need to get it out and just say a few things about it. And it's coming from discerning the voice of God. And I only feel compelled to talk about it because it keeps being confirmed to me that this is what God is speaking in this time. Even from today, my pastors have weekly Wednesday morning prayers, early morning prayers, where the church gets on and we are praying to our Father to move in our nation and in our lives and in the lives of the community. But they were praying a lot about discerning the voice of God and hearing from Him clearly, not being distracted so that you can hear from God. And my pastor actually preached on that last night in Bible study. But I was going to write something, and I still am, but I was going to write something in regards to being deceived by what we hear in the world and thinking that's God, or just being willing to accept the voice of these false teachers because it aligns with what we want. It pleases our senses because it speaks to our desires. So this is what we will listen to. And so I was going to write about that. And this was downloaded into me like 2 weeks ago. And I have it here. I had started writing about it. I was going to write a Substack. But then since then, a lot of things have been like confirming what I was thinking, from my pastor's sermons to the prayer on this morning, even from seeing a post that Priscilla Shirer left in regards to being deceived by AI, pretending to be her speaking, but understanding that it's not her. And if you know her at all, if you followed her for any length of time, you would know what she would say. And what she would say comes only from the word of God. And so there we must be able to discern when it's not her. Discern the words that are being spoken and we are allowing into our ear gates that goes against what God says, or even what she would say in alignment with what God says. And so that happened. And I'm like, the thing is, we are so distracted by everything happening around us. We're so distracted even by the things that we want, that we're willing to accept whatever is being spoken so that we can feel good either about ourselves, either about the path that we are on. And we will listen to anybody who speaks into that thing. So if it sounds good, if it's talking about prosperity, if it's talking about making more money, or if it's talking about anything that we deem good that aligns with what we desire, that's what we'll listen to. We won't listen to it if it's telling us to not do the thing that we are currently doing. So if it's convicting us, that we don't really want to listen to. But when we push away from listening to what God is really instructing to us at this time, we're not only being disobedient to what He's telling us and to His word, but we're not doing ourselves any justice, because we're going to be doing everything in vain just to feed our flesh, just to feed our desires. So if we're listening to an AI generated sermon, and this sermon is telling us how you're going to be blessed and you're going to receive this and this is going to happen for you and all you have to do is this, you're missing the point where God says, yes, I'm going to bless you. Yes, there are promises that that are yours. But in order for you to activate those blessings and to activate that promise, I'm going to need you to stop dating this person whom you shouldn't be dating. I'm going to need you to stop doing this thing that you shouldn't be doing. I'm going to need you to recognize that you are behaving in a way that is not in alignment with my word. We're going to miss actually hearing the warning that God is speaking into us, because all we want to do is hear the feel-good messages, even if those messages are coming from AI-generated sermons, people who are not even real. And that's scary. That's scary to realize that we can be living in a time and an age where we're willing to accept whatever feels good, but we do not want to hear the truth. And that's the problem. We have to be willing to hear the truth. I mean, I suppose that's a saying, I don't think that's technically written in the Bible anywhere. The truth will set you free, but the truth indeed, which is Jesus, will set you free. That's probably where they got that from. God will set you free, knowing what he says, doing what he says. Because the opposite of that is in bondage. I don't care how free you think you are. If you're going against God, you are actually in bondage. Bondage to your sin, bondage to your own thoughts, to your own ways, to your own understanding, bondage to the next dollar that you can make, enslaved to working and doing whatever it takes to rise to the top. That's bondage. But what God says, which is truth, that is freedom. Anyway, a part of what I was going to write, and don't think me corny, although I am, but last week when I was thinking about discerning the voice of God, I was thinking about, I was thinking about the X-Files. If you've learned anything about me yet, I love the X-Files. Fox Mulder, actually that's my dog's name, Fox Mulder, and Dana Scully. But anyway, there was an episode on the X-Files where Dana Scully was being guided by God in her FBI case. But the thing was, when Mulder, while Mulder was working the case with her, the very same case with her, he didn't hear what she was hearing and he didn't see what she was seeing. But because Mulder didn't have faith in God, Mulder had faith in the paranormal, she had faith in God. And she believed that God was leading her in this case, which in the show, he was showing her what he wasn't showing anybody else. And she was able to hear it because she was in tune to his leading. And so she was able to solve the case. And you know, if you've watched X-Files, mostly Fox Mulder solves the case. He mostly solves the case and knows everything about all the things that are happening. And Scully always doubts him. But in this case, he doubted her. When she was able to hear from God, he doubted what she was hearing. And also then one of the things that really stuck out to me all these years, and I'm telling you, I was watching the X-Files even before I started my Christian walk, my faith walk. But that scene stuck out to me all these years that Scully had said. She was sitting with a priest. And she said, the thing is, God is always speaking. But what scares me is nobody's listening. And that is what I thought of last week. And I started writing that in my, my soon to be Substack post, probably someday this week. But that's the truth even today, that God is always speaking. He is always speaking, but nobody is listening. And we say we want to listen, but we're not truly positioning ourselves to hear from God. And in order to hear from God, it takes a lifestyle, a posture of sitting with him in his word and speaking, and praying to him and asking him for clarity and asking him for wisdom and asking him to open up our spiritual eyes and our spiritual ears. It takes intentionality to truly hear from God. And I don't mean audibly, but I mean in the ways that he will speak to us, which is predominantly through his word. He said everything he's going to say through his word. But anyway, I don't want to make this long. I just wanted to pop in to say that let's today be more intentional with sitting with God, sitting with him in the quiet, sitting with him in the car, sitting with him at the coffee shop, sitting with him at your desk at work, wherever you are, sit with him. Open up your word, open up your Bible app, or just open up your mind and start praying to him and seeking him so that you can be postured to hear from him, because there are things that he needs us to start doing now. And there are things that there are plans that he has in place, that he is positioning in our lives, but it takes our obedience to his word for those doors to be open, and not just for us and our lives, but for other people. Like our obedience unlock blessings for other people, and we're holding, God, we're not going to stop God's show. We're not going to stop God's show. But if he seeks to use us, allow ourselves to be used by God. That's what we should be doing. And in order for us to be used by God, we have to hear from him. In order for us to hear from him, we have to slow down and get into his word and know what he sounds like, because he has a sound. He has a voice. In order to know it, you have to know him. And in order to know him, you have to know his word. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Also, I wanted to show you guys my table. I have a pop-up event, one of the first ones for Be Still 4610. And we are going to be, it's called Heart for Souls Outreach in Savannah, Georgia on Sunday at Forsyth Park at 12 noon. And I just wanted to show my table. I just set it up inside my house so I can see how I'm going to do it in the park. And I'm just very proud of it and excited about it. I'm not good with the camera, so I hope you can see it all. And then I have some stuff here. Sis, check me out online now, because I have some pretty stuff. This is a size small, but I have small, medium, large. This is a medium romper shorts. And this is a maxi dress. This is a large, but I have all sizes. I have this scarf. I have this bag from Rwanda, Africa. It's a beautiful banana bag. So anyway, I have a lot of good things. So you can check me out at the pop-up, or you can check me out online at the boutique. Okay, that's all I got to say today. I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.